Hey.
It started, Krishna.
Mute yourself.
Stuck there.
You have the nicest office ever.
It gets kind of loud though, you know?
You got a bit of an echo there.
Yeah, just to add the realism, I got a hockey water bottle because.
Are we doing all right?
Yeah, how are you, John?
Let me get some.
Should we be calling tech support?
I have no worries.
I want to see you say it.
What is this?
I just want to hear
Told
this.
officers attended a break-in on Friday.
Dog, she had very white hair. And
Is your name?
Dustin, you have your hand up. Is there something you wanted to ask early on?
No, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't want to be on camera.
I-
On camera.
I know. Now, how to put my hand? So, if you actually have a question, just
Can you guys
make some noise so I can figure that out. So we'll give it a few more minutes, guys, and let people come in so they don't miss any information when they have to cover twice.
How many can you take on?
100.
Oh, that's good.
Hi, April. Yeah, it gets really expensive over 100. It gets like the price doubles.
Oh, so she gets
A lot of pressure on you, Larry, with this kind of turnout.
Is that Mr. Hancock?
No pressure. It's easy to say I don't know.
I paid him $20 to be here, so he's got to say something.
Goes a long way with me these days.
It's like Groundhog Day.
The Flyers board should expand into news, and you could be lead news anchor, Lance.
Yeah, yeah. It took a lot of setting up to get this right. Let's give it a couple more minutes here, and then we'll fire it up.
Everybody see that Kings game yesterday?
Jeez, that was a great one. You like coming from behind. How about you just do it in the beginning instead of going to the end?
They needed it, yeah. I mean, they lost the same way it came before. So.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Somebody needs to sing a song while we're waiting.
That'd have to be Larry. Like, I think.
Larry, do you have any do you have any songs you want to sing?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Okay, I'll sing that with you.
That was one of the funniest parts about the city buying the rink. Is one of the first things I noticed is they took the Canadian flag down, and I was like, "Yeah, that's interesting."
How about welcome back to that same old place that you knew before?
John.
Yeah, John?
Yeah. Welcome back, a little welcome back, Carter. Or that's not welcome back, Carter, is it? No.
So while we give it one extra minute, Larry, I have a question for you. Being that you were integral in the very beginning of this place, right? How does it feel to be back in that building?
Well, it feels good. I mean, it's not that I hadn't been back at all, Scott. I've, been back off and on a couple of times a year, but and I haven't been back permanently yet, so I'll have to reserve judgment on that call. But the only thing I can honestly say, it's sad to see the condition the building was in to some extent, but that's being repaired. So.
Are you excited? Are you excited for the changes that obviously you've been key in with the city? Are you excited with the changes that you've seen happening? And do you think that everything is going in the right direction?
Yeah, absolutely. The city's doing a great job of prioritizing. There's a lot to be done and a lot that will have to be done after we open, but they've got a hit list that they're knocking off pretty well. And yeah, really excited.
That's awesome.
Well, we're at 5 minutes after, so I think we'll get started. I'm sure some people will come in and we can always update them. So thanks guys for joining us. If this is your first time at the Flyers educational series, I think you should try to go over to the website and take a look. We've had some really good episodes with people from USA Hockey, people from the NHL Network, sports therapists, nutritionists. We're trying to do it every couple of weeks, trying to present people with some different takes on things and information they're not getting anywhere else, and let them ask questions of people that are professionals. We plan to have a guy coming up who hopefully we can get him, who is a very fast running back in the NFL to have him kind of talk about speed and what it's like to be fast, and how to be fast and those kind of things. So if you haven't seen it before, take a look over there at the website under the educational series. And so right now we have Larry Buryere here with us, and I personally don't have a 20-year relationship with Larry like a lot of the people do, and I've met Larry recently. I can tell you that it means a lot to me to have a good person in charge of the rink. As a lot of you were, I was a 6-day. I was 6 days a week at the rink. I had Mike, a squirt, and a bantam, or Oscar Pee-wee, all playing, and so most of you, when you were there, was like, oh, there's that guy I see every week, not knowing that I was the guy that everybody saw every week. So it's exciting to have the rink come back. I think during the Save the Rink drive-through, they tried to interview me, but I blubbered so much I couldn't even speak to the tears because I was like, it's destroyed, everything, So I think we're in a great position. I've seen the city's videos and what they put out there, and it looks like just to be like an amazing facility that we get to go back into. And from everything positive I've heard, about Larry. So because I don't have a relationship with, because I'm not a 20-year guy with Larry, I want to get some background from Larry, find out kind of who he is for everybody else, so they have a good feeling about it, so they understand. So Larry, so you've been involved in youth hockey in California for how many years?
Well, in California, I moved out here in the early 70s, and in the late 70s, I started coaching.
Oh, wow. So late 70s?
Yeah.
And then you transitioned to that being was it a career at that point, or was it just?
No, when I came to California, I was in sales, and I played. My kids were small, and then when they started skating, of course, I started coaching. I got involved through retail. I started been on the road with sales and got an opportunity to manage a retail hockey store as hockey was growing. It was the late 70s, late 70s, and rollerblades had just come out, and they were starting to take off. And so I had an opportunity to run this retail hockey store. I started doing it part-time, and I took it over and ran it for 5-6 years, and opened up my own, got a few partners, and I got involved with the Isoplex group, and we started putting stores in their rinks. They were partners with me, and that's how I got into the business.
And so what roles have you had over the years in hockey?
Well, of course, coaching a lot, and I still play, such as it is. And I started becoming a hockey director and running adult hockey leagues at the same time. And we did that over the years. This was back when adult hockey was the LA County Hockey Association that played out of Pasadena, North Hollywood, Culver City, Topanga Plaza at one point, Caneo Valley, all these rinks. A lot of them aren't here anymore. So we were running around making these leagues happen. And then when Isoplex opened, we kind of condensed things and moved everything into one building. So I started running the hockey, youth, and adult out of that building and my retail store. And I started kind of getting into rink management at that time. And then the big box and online sales were starting to come into the business. So it was time to start selling them off. And that's when I initially moved up to Santa Clarita in the late 90s and got involved with Ice Station at the time.
So you were at the ice station at the very beginning. Were you there when they poured the cement, or did you come in later? Or?
Yeah, I was in the trailer for almost a year. That was a year that we had the El Nino, so it took a while to get the place built. But yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Frajo's told me stories about lakes inside the building, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
John would know.
Yeah. So so you were there, and then I know from looking back at the bylaws going back then, you were the first president of the Express.
Yes, and I founded the Valencia Express, got it going, and then turned it over to administrative group. I stayed involved the whole time I was there on the board in different capacities. But yeah.
And how long were you were you here in the ring?
Gosh, I think 9 years.
Your most recent stop, you were in Santa Barbara?
Yeah, I'm just wrapping up in Santa Barbara. They're getting ready to put the ice back in next week up there to get things going. So I'll be there through next week, and we'll see how things go in terms of putting the ice down. And we get the keys to the building theoretically here, April 1st.
Okay. So as a person who's been involved in it, is there one part of all the hockey, like if you think about everything you've been through, everything you've done, is there one thing that stands out as like an accomplishment for you, like something that, like, what would you hang your hat on if you were hanging your hat today?
I'm not much about self accolades. I think stamina. I've been in it, stayed in it for all this time. That speaks volume. I grew up in northern New York on the Canadian border, and I've skated and played hockey all my life. I started out playing outdoors, played most of my youth hockey outdoors, and then you got the privilege of coming indoors if you made the high school hockey team. So from that point on, outdoors was not as, once you get inside, it's hard to get back out.
Yeah.
And, hockey, granted, I've been involved with it so long, it grabs you. And, I've been fortunate enough to stay healthy and have kids who enjoy the sport and enjoy coaching other people's kids. So I think my favorite thing about the sport is having people that I coached as kids come back as coaches now and as parents of hockey players. And I haven't had any grandparents that I've coached come in yet with the grandkids. So, but we're getting close to it. So just the fact that you're part of something that somebody else enjoyed so much that they've stayed involved with it almost as long as you have, you feel like you're a part of that.
So I got a call the other day from a gentleman who fled California during COVID, but he called me and he said, man, you guys are really lucky to have Larry back. He says, so this is Mr. Gifford, and Gabe Gifford, apparently like 14 years ago or 13 years ago, came into a learn to skate class, and he skated around and he was going to walk out, and you grabbed him and said, wait, no, buddy, you're going to have to come back here with me. And you took him to the junk equipment locker. And you said, you're going to play hockey, so you're going to need this and you're going to need that. And he left there, with gear after his first little skating lesson. And his dad's he's now being boarded in Missoula. And so, and he's played AAA with different clubs and all this. But he says, yeah, it was that day, Larry's influence of taking my kid to the back. And, I'm like, what are you doing? You just learned to skate. And you send him out there with stick and gloves and all that. And then you launch this kid into to a hobby he's going to love for the rest of his life, something that he's going to be into for the rest of his life. So that was it was pretty interesting, because just to have someone call me out of the blue just to make that comment. So
that's great to hear.
Yeah.
USA Hockey has a program called It Starts with a Stick, and they make sticks available. I don't know if you've been to Lincoln. And it's like if you go to a Kings game and watch a professional hockey game, you can get hooked pretty easily. If you don't have that opportunity and your first exposure is going to an ice rink, just being out there and skating sometimes isn't that exciting if you don't know how to do it. And it's pretty intimidating to a young 5, 6, 7-year-old or whatever. So to walk away or a piece of equipment or even somebody complimenting on the fact that you didn't fall down as many times the last time, they need to leave the rink feeling good about themselves, and they're more than likely going to come back. But if they walk out the door intimidated or scared, then you might lose them.
So then let me lead that into a question. Because you have all this experience, and it's kind of somewhat of a loaded question. How do you plan to build hockey in Santa Clarita? I mean, I'm sure that you've done it so many times. You've lived here, you've been around, the programs. Is there some, like, what's your vision for how to make this? I keep calling it Hockey Town, California, because it's a good hashtag, right? Sure. But really, I mean, with a beautiful rink like this and the growth of hockey in recent years, I'm sure you're given a good opportunity here. Can you talk about what you'd like to do?
Well, give it the people like yourself who are going to be involved with the programs and get a feel for, what condition the programs are in. The rink's been down for a year, and there are people who have dropped out of skating. And it's not just building hockey program, Scott, it's skating in general. I've told people time and time again, when they talk about buying a rink, first thing I tell them is don't. And don't buy it if you're buying it to make money, because, you know, it's a tough business to make money. And even the most popular rinks is just so much overhead. So you've got to fire on all 8 cylinders, otherwise it just won't happen, which means you can't just be a hockey rink. You've got to have a viable figure skating program and your public sessions and your birthday parties and special events. And it's one thing I like about the city of Santa Frita's vision. They're planning on using it for other things as well. Sure, it's going to be a skating rink first, and our goal is to build those programs as large as possible. But to answer your question more specifically, you know, it starts with our Learn to Skate, and then goes right over to our in-house program, because you don't have a travel hockey club unless you have a strong in-house program to feed the kids there. So to build that in-house program as large as it was, John will remember back in the day we had 5 teams, 6 teams at some divisions. That's just one division. So you don't necessarily need to travel to get your hockey. You're going to get it right there playing at home. If you get to a certain level of proficiency, then you want to take it to the next level. That's when the Flyers come in and playing travel hockey and playing more competitively. So, you know, starting with the very developmental part of it, making it fun, keeping it affordable, all those things.
That's interesting that you talk about the stopping skating, because I just had my Mike on the ice for the first time yesterday since we were at the ice station tonight. He had a clinic, in-house clinic, and then the next day they were planning to shut down for repairs to the rink, and I took him out, and they locked the door behind us.
Oh.
And then and that was on the 12th of March last year, so it was almost a year since he'd been on the ice. And I was thinking about that. Mike's, you know, getting Mike's back in, you know, keeping him, not keeping him out of soccer and all these, but somehow keeping that love of the game in these little kids that may have escaped otherwise or gone other places. You know, it could be a rough turn. You know, we were lucky that we had 96 mites in the in-house program or something like that at the end, at the last time. And so I think that our mite program should be strong again. You know, we have enough kids for a couple teams down. We'll build on it, but that is going to be the hard part, is to try to, you know, I mean, watching my kid skate, who's a mite to begin with, and then have a, you know, almost a calendar year gone. You know, he's out there, his ankles are turning sideways. So it's going to be that way for a lot of kids. So that's going to be a push, you know.
We're going to lose some kids who have found other things. There's no question about it. So we'll try to get them back, certainly. But, you know, when you think about it, it starts with the group who rallied to save the rink, you know. Who would have thunk it? And really, I hope they understand that they had a major impact on the city. Without that, you know, the parades and the rallies and the signage and all the positive energy, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And they got to the right people, and let's give the city credit. What a bold and courageous move to purchase this property. It wasn't popular throughout the city. There's a lot of people who would like to see that money put into busing and senior centers and fixing the medians here and there and things like that. But the city had the vision to recognize that the ice station property was a great asset, and they hated to see it go. It served certainly a certain section of the people, but it's not just for, somebody said the other day, it's just for people with money who can skate or play hockey. Well, it's not. There's a lot of seniors that use skating as their exercise, and it's for anybody in the community who wants to skate. So kudos to them, and if it wasn't for that movement and the city making the right decision, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
But what's funny about that is, as soon as they bought it, they bought a whole nother problem, because then we were all trying to peek inside. I mean, you know, I don't know how many times I drove to that parking lot going, okay, I'm going to take a camera and hold it up above, get over the paper to see what's going on there. I'm sure there's ice, or, you know, whatever. So, and then the rumors, the crazy rumors, maybe we should address some of those. So three sheets of ice, all right? 3 sheets of ice are going to return.
Last time I checked, there were still 3 sheets of ice.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I can. You know, I don't want to steal the city's thunder, because we're going to want to have a grand opening and show the building off. But I've been in there a fair amount lately, and there was a lot to do, and a lot's being done, and there will be a lot to do after we open. No question about it. But I'd heard that they're turning 1 sheet of ice into a what do you call that sport? not bocce, but
lawn bowling.
something like that.
Yeah.
At any rate, there will be 3 sheets of ice. There is currently 3 sheets of ice. The ice is down in all 3. It's painted with lines. They're still putting logos in, so we'll be able to skate on it really soon. And all the programs that were there, we're hoping to get back. So one of the things I'm encouraged by is there's no shortage of people who have contacted us looking to buy ice. That's great, because you worry,
Yeah.
Where did this group go? Where did that group go? Well, they're just waiting for the rink to open.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And okay, so then just to keep with the rumor thing, the figure skaters are going to be there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought it was like I could feel the person in the city council meeting. A lady was worried about the figure skaters, and I could feel it right then. I could feel that same tension that she was expressing that I felt when the rink closed, like that something's being taken away from me.
And I was at the city council meeting, and her concern was because the King's Room filed, they're not going to take care of the figure skating community, and that it couldn't be further from the truth. So we can kibosh that.
My kid's not a fan of it, but I think they're okay. I don't think hockey players ever like to see the figure skaters taken on the ice, but it's the way it is.
But without the figure skater, you wouldn't have a hockey program. Because
no, absolutely no. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Figure skater taught my kid to skate. No, I love figure skaters. They're good with me. Some people have actually. This is maybe I don't know if you know this or not, but I've had people who used to work there, guys who were Zamboni drivers or girls who worked the front desk, wondering, is there a way that they can apply for their old jobs? Is there some system, or are you guys just working through that now? Like, where are you with that?
Yeah, of course, anybody can apply, and there are positions available. We've hired a few people. There are a few people that are coming through ASEC, the company that's managing it, including myself. And I will have a company email soon, probably early next week, that they can mail to. But if somebody wants it now, they can mail to my direct private email, which is just my last name, Buryere 444 @AOL.com. I'm one of the last of the AOL.
That's how long you've been around. Yeah. Okay. So let's make sure you touch everything. So we plan to have a healthy men's league as well. You plan to have you're going to have a hockey department that's going to run a men's league program out of there, and continue that history.
Yeah, we're hoping to get teams back that have fled the scene, so to speak. Yeah. We've got a lot of ice to sell, and a lot of nighttime ice, and ideal for men's league hockey. So absolutely, we hope to have specific divisions that are pretty clean in terms of people playing in the right divisions. I'd like to have an old timers league as well. So we'll see if we get enough old guys up here, so I won't feel so out of place.
And then in-house, of course, gotta have a strong in-house. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I have the men's league trophy in that closet over there, the one from 20 years. It's too heavy to carry anymore, and I'd be glad to bring that back and set it back in the ice station, so all those guys at home, they can enjoy their moments of glory that they had over the years. So
that trophy is a monstrosity, but it's a staple. So I'm glad that it will be returning.
Yeah,
and I understand the trophy case is still in storage as well.
Yeah, just to be clear, I have every piece of hockey equipment that was there that belonged to the club. I have every banner, every trophy, every state championship medal, everything going back all 20 years. And it's cost us personally a lot of money. We were paying $1,000 a month since August to store all that. Luckily now it's here in the training center, but it was, but we said, you know what, we can't let that go, because there's too much history. So banners, people that have asked, can the banners be rehung? And I know it's going to be an aesthetic thing, and it's a city rink, so I'm not sure how that will play out.
I'm not sure either, Lance. Question I haven't been asked yet, but keep in mind they put a lot of money into, if nothing else, paint. So aesthetics are going to be really important.
Yeah.
But that'd be the first thing on my list. I'm writing it down now.
Okay. Yeah. I think I have over 100 banners. I mean, we took them all down, yeah. And any of the banners that if we don't hang them back up, then I'll make sure that we send out messages to those people out there and let them recoup their banners, because it's a great garage trophy, right? To have the 2003 in-house championship from Pickwick or something. Yeah. Okay. So I wonder, does anybody out there have questions that they'd like to pose to Larry?
Yeah, I happen to have something, Mr. LB, JF here. I was going through the items that you were discussing, and there was one item that I don't think that I heard mentioned, the fact that you were the coach in chief for the Pacific District for USA Hockey.
Yeah, I did that for about 20 some years. First as the associate coach in chief with Ron White, and then I took on the role when he stepped down. Did that for like 15 to 20 years as the head coach. And then finally turned it over to Flint Downchuck up in Oregon. And I enjoyed it. It was great to be involved with USA Hockey at that level. And there's a few perks involved. You get to go to the Frozen Four every year and watch some really good hockey. But a fair amount of travel and a fair amount of work. So I miss it, but I don't miss the work.
And you are also president of 3 different clubs, right? Was it 3? Or did you once?
Well, yeah, I was not the president of the Golden Bears. I was head coach for way back when. That's like I started out in Norwalk, but the Golden Bears first when I stepped on a board. And then I helped found the West Valley Wolves at the Isoplex. And I was the president there for 3 years and conned a few people into taking it off my hands and stayed involved. And the same thing with the Express. Okay. And then got involved with the Riptide in Oxnard and ultimately founded the Santa Barbara Blackhawks.
So just a few. Okay. So then I guess I know who I can call if I need a shoulder to cry on, or if I need some help. All right. Any questions from people online here?
Hey, Lance, it's Chris Dowler. How you doing? I got a quick question for you. So with the rink, what's the target date again? Maybe I missed it. What's the target date for the opening?
There's not a specific date, Chris.
Okay.
As I mentioned,
or range, I should say range.
We take over the building literally April 1st.
Okay.
Have a soft opening as soon after that as we can. It really depends on a lot of systems in the building, getting them in place. And then there's going to be a planned grand opening also in April. So we'll be skating in April for sure.
Okay.
What day, I can't tell you at this point.
Okay, I was just curious. I know that there was news recently that LA County will probably be moving into the red tier by the end of the month. And so with that being the case, if the rink opens up in April, does that provide more options for opening or less restrictions in terms of the public, the general use of the facility in the red tier? I don't know.
Yeah, good question. Timing wise, I think we're in pretty good shape if the pandemic continues to cooperate in terms of the numbers dropping, but clearly we're not there yet. When we open, we'll be following whatever protocols are in place, and I'm sure we'll still be wearing masks, distancing, et cetera, et cetera. But the more people who get the vaccine and the more the numbers come down, it'll certainly help us get numbers in the building. My goal is, or my hope is that sometime in April when we open that we're at 25% at least. That way you can run most of your programs, because the occupancy in a rink is 500. So, but again, we'll be wearing masks and all that for a while.
Right. Okay. So it's a 25% then is the goal in April.
Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
Mr. Hancock, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted John Forgeot chimed in a little bit. I was also going to bring up Larry's knowledge of hockey and his investment. He's not just a guy that opens rinks or, been at the club level. A couple of years ago, he was awarded the Walter Yakyuk award by USA Hockey, recognized nationally for his commitment and years of service with USA Hockey coaching education program. So he is, it can't be overstated what a resource he is for your area with respect to hockey development. Not only, I think you all heard how the heartfelt comments he made about the little 8Us or the 5, 6-year-old coming back to the rink and making them happy and wanting to come back, but mentoring coaches, the development and mentoring of coaches as well. So you guys are very fortunate to have Larry back.
Tom, thanks for the kind words. That award was a complete surprise to me because, you know, there's people like Lou Vero and some pretty powerful names that have got that. I think it was a pretty short list that year, so I lucked out.
For those of you who don't know, Tom Hancock is the president of CAHA. So if he knows a hockey guy, if anybody knows a hockey guy, it'd be him. The Bassetts have their hand up.
So it may be too early, but just a quick question, Larry. We've got a boatload of kind of used gear that we've outgrown over the years. So don't know if the facility is looking to kind of rebuild that closet of donations and gear for those that don't have.
I didn't catch your first name.
Greg.
Greg. Absolutely. It's probably my favorite thing to do, as we talked about earlier, is to get gear on young people and adults too. We got some adults who haven't played in a while. They want to come back, but the only thing stopping them is having to buy a new pair of gloves or something like that we may have in an equipment room. Then it's great to be able to facilitate that. So I know Lance has a ton of gear, as you mentioned. I happen to have a garage with a lot of equipment in that my wife wants me to get rid of because I've been collecting it. So as soon as we're able, it won't be the closet underneath the stairs anymore, as I'm sure John will attest to. We outgrew that a long time ago. So the good news is we have plenty of equipment. We can always use more because it seems like whatever you need, you don't have. And we're going to find a room that is suitable for it.
Then we'll hold on to it until the appropriate time.
Terrific, and it's very much appreciated.
If it gets in the way, you can bring it to the training center because, believe it or not, we took all that with us too. And so imagine your smelly hockey closet. We went into that closet on the stairs and pulled out 100 pair of skates, 20 pair of goalie pads, everybody's nasty hockey stuff that's been donated over the 20 years of the rink, and we boxed it up and carried it to storage.
That's one of the rites of passage of playing hockey is you got to be able to deal with smell.
Yeah. Yeah, but not like 20 years of guys smelled it that I don't even. That's how it went.
All right, sounds good. We'll figure it out.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Other questions from the audience? I can't see both pages.
I started to talk about, we're looking for questions. The fact that the city has done such a good job of prioritizing the repairs and what's happening at the rink. And they brought in Greg Toy, who was with a company called Commercial Refrigeration, who actually installed the equipment 20 some years ago. And he's there now having to repair the stuff. Not too happy about the condition some of it's in, but he's doing a wonderful job of, we had one compressor there was completely shot. That's been rebuilt. The other two have been reconditioned. A new condenser has been put on the roof, which is amazing. If you remember, the ice was starting to pull away from the boards. Wasn't freezing all the way to the boards in some places because the pipes had pulled back. So we've taken the time, they've gone all the way around all 3 rinks and reset pipes so that the ice will be, flushed to the boards. So just a lot of important things that unless you're looking for it, you don't see in some cases. Zambonis are out being repaired, at least one of them is. And not everything's going to fit in the initial budget, but I think you'll see great things when you walk into the building for the first time.
So people,
Larry,
people have asked me about the blue baseballs.
Yeah.
And people are worried that the Caja won't let there be games there because it's not regulation to have blue baseballs. That, I don't think, is there a regulation about?
There are 3 different colors you can use: red, blue, or yellow. Of course, most people use yellow, but blue is used around. It's used a lot in Canada. But of course, if you're a goaltender, the puck's shot kind of low, you could lose it in that darker color. So Santa Clarita's colors are blue and white, so they tried to use that wherever they could. And had I been able to advise, I probably would have said otherwise, but it looks pretty cool, actually.
Did someone else come up with a question there? That
LB, in retrospect here, recognizing the schedule that we had in regards to accommodating Caja, Skaha, and tournaments, do you believe that we will be able to maintain that schedule going forward with the same with the same level of excitement and activity, or a number of teams, and so on and so on?
I'm thinking you're probably talking mostly about tournaments, John. Certainly want to have as many travel teams as possible as far as hockey is concerned. And really every program we want to fill. Nothing better than having many people vying for ice time, and the key is trying to keep everybody happy. Of course, that's tough to accomplish sometimes, but that's our goal. As far as the amount of activity you're referring to, yeah, I think it'll be a while before we're able to, actually have games with referees, but I'm hoping a while is not much more than a month or so. But again, we're at the mercy of the pandemic. But yeah, to answer your question, sure, we want the building to be hopping, we want the stands to be full of people, and want to hear the puck cracking off the boards as much as possible.
So here's another question here. And unfortunately in the Valley, we had Discount Hockey for years, which was a great place. You could get stuff there. And then Hockey Monkey came in and Discount went out of business. And subsequently now Hockey Monkey's out of business. So right now, like if you want to outfit your kid, you have to drive to Hockey Monkey in Orange County.
Yeah.
So the pro shop remained, yes?
Yes, yeah, that was a major discussion there. First meeting. There will be a pro shop there, and let's face it, the size of that pro shop relative to anybody else who has a rink in town is optimal. So we're trying to get it to stay the same size. There's some talk about turning a portion of it into something else, but either way, there will be a pro shop there. There will be at least 1,000 square feet, maybe more, and probably 1,500. And now it's a matter of who's going to run the pro shop. So they're taking bids. It's the rink management company's job to find a tenant. And there's a couple of people they're talking to right now.
And so then the restaurant as well, the restaurant's going to return. Is that?
Yeah. Restaurant, they're hoping to have a full-blown restaurant again, because we want the building to be so busy. The restaurant's an integral part of that, whether it be for normal activities or if the city decides to put on an event, the food and the drink got to come from somewhere. So the city has asked or mentioned that they'd like to have a local restaurant, have an opportunity to put a satellite store and move into that space. So yeah. I don't know where that is right now because it wasn't a front burner item, but I'm sure it's moving towards finding something right now. Yeah. We haven't found anybody, to my knowledge, yet.
Yeah, it really seems like the city is trying to serve this community first and foremost. Serve Santa Clarita over, anything else. So that's good. That's I guess the taxpayers paid for it, and so that's what they deserve, is to have a facility they can use. Yeah. Jennifer, did you have a question? I saw you come off there. Nope. All right. Anybody else? Any of the coaches want to know anything from Larry? All right.
Oh, Larry?
Hey, John.
Oh, just a question. is the concept of having a junior team completely out of the question at this point?
The concept is not out of the question. You know, certainly it'd be great, and it's been talked about. Whether that could happen for the fall this year is I would say unlikely, but it's not out of the question. It'd be great to have the right high-end program there, because let's face it, if it's the right program and the right league, et cetera, it's good for everybody. The kids and their families can come watch it, and it gives the kids something. Hockey league has shrunk and moved out of the area for the most part. There are a few people who've asked about bringing a team here for next year, but because we've been so busy trying to get the rink up and running, it's kind of been, you know, we want to take care of our regular customers, the people who are coming back first, and we'll see what's left over. And so it's not out of the question, though.
Sorry, I just got another question. No, that's not one. Okay. Well, I can tell you that we are, you know, the Flyers are super excited because, you know, for years the Flyers were not run by people in the club, right? It wasn't always able to serve the families in a manner the families saw fit, right? So we're really excited to get back in there and to work with you and your team to build, you know, a really high class experience for the kids, you know, because it's an opportunity that most clubs don't get, right? To have their old rink be rejuvenated and to get back on the ice and be back part of the whole situation. And I believe that our rink will attract lots and lots of people and lots of tournaments and people coming in. So it's a very exciting time for me as being part of the Flyers. And I think a lot of people feel that way as well. Girls hockey. Sorry, I just keep things coming to mind. You know, my sport's a girl, and there are other female hockey player moms and dads on this call. And for them to play hockey right now, if they want to play high level hockey, really, they got to drive to Orange County or LA. Otherwise, they I mean, they can play on boys teams, whatever. But if they really want to get into it, if they want to take their opportunity to try to play, they have to spend more time. And it seems unfair for sure, for girls to have to make that hike. I know the number of girls that are involved and whatever, but for instance, I know there's friends of mine that drive from Santa Barbara to Anaheim, and there's a couple on here that drive to Anaheim from here. So there's something I'd really like to work with you on, is trying to get girls hockey, trying to build something here. It doesn't have to be a AAA program, but just give these girls an opportunity to play at home. So do you have any idea, any thoughts on girls hockey? Do you have any?
You know, I do, Lance. It's believe it or not, it's a passion of mine, because I've been involved with trying to get girls hockey going in different places, and it takes a lot of work, because it's a numbers game like everything else, whether it be a Pee Wee AA team or a Squirt B team. You've got to have the numbers. And typically, in order to get a girls hockey program going, let's say you have 7 girls.
Yeah.
One is 16, one is 15, 2 are 13. So it's hard to get teams together because they're spread out, and until you get the numbers to make up the teams, you start with the highest number and everybody plays on that team if they're allowed. So I hope to make a concerted effort to really encourage it. I think the first thing we do is get gear on them, make it affordable, find some good ice for them, some people who care coaching wise, and some passionate parents who are patient. And Rome wasn't built in a day, but you know, the demographics for this rink are outstanding. So there's a ton of girls out there. If we just introduce them to the sport, get them excited about it, it'll happen.
Tom, did you have a comment?
I just had a quick question, Larry. What discussions or what steps do you may have heard with the city of Santa Clarita to incorporate into their youth rec through Parks and Recs, the same level of promotion that they do for their other rec sports, now to incorporate ice sports. And obviously not just ice hockey, but all ice sports.
That's a good question, Tom. We're meeting next week. We haven't got a time yet, but Parks and Rec are going to have an office in the rink. So they have a vested interest in making ice sports an integral part of their programs. So yeah, I'm excited about that, because when I was back at Valencia years ago, and John will attest to it, the Parks and Rec portion of skating school is always full. And when those calendars go up, they fill up fast, because a lot of people in this town religiously stay involved with the program. So I'm excited about their involvement, because they've got an engine that has a lot of strength, and their marketing ability is built in. So I don't know specifically, but we're meeting to talk about just that.
Yeah, I can tell you that my kids utilize the season's calendar, I think it is, or that comes out every year. And my kids have played water polo. They've played every sport from everything through that calendar, and it's a big part of it. So I have a question in the chat window here. It says the IS. Okay, so the Ice Station Valencia website is down. So how will we be able to get information about programs such as in-house, learn to skate, all these things? Is there going to be a new launch of a website, or?
Yeah, the new website is being worked on. I couldn't tell you when it's going to go live, but it'll be going up soon. Honestly, I don't know the exact name of the facility yet, whether it's the Santa Clarita Ice and Entertainment Center at the Cube, or the Cube Santa Clarita Ice and Entertainment Center. It's a mouthful either way, but I think it'll eventually become just the Cube. So regarding the ice, it's important to get the website up, and like I say, they're working on it. They've got a lot of technical people involved, so I'm not one of them.
Yeah, you'd be surprised the number. I mean, even myself, I get so many questions.
And by all means, as much as I don't want all the questions, because I won't have all the answers, if I can answer some questions to take some pressure off and give people some direction, I'd love to.
Okay. Anybody else have questions here? Check the view, looking for hands.
For anybody from the figure skating world.
Oh, yeah. Any figure skaters on here? April, I know you have both, right? So
yeah. No, I assume they're going to be taken care of as well. So looking forward to the return.
Oh my gosh, Jeff. April.
I like the part about the old time hockey. Welcome back, Larry. Glad to see you're back.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, there's one nice thing about skating, whether it be hockey or figure, is, if you ask me to run a mile, I may have a stamina, but I don't think my knees will hold up. Or if you ask me to play basketball or soccer, even though I used to play soccer as a kid, I don't think I can do that anymore, but I can still skate. It's a forgiving sport that allows people to skate and play hockey into their 80s. Granted, it's not a pretty thing to watch in most cases, but for me, it beats going to the gym. The rink becomes your gym. To me, it's an essential service that should have been opened all the time. And it just appeals to such a wide range of people. So I'm excited that we can, we'll have speed skating as well.
Oh, good.
Well, we're exploring everything, and it's just a matter of creating a schedule that works. That's always the key.
Mr. Marchand, no question from you?
Oh.
Tom is one of the most experienced hockey dads on the call, so I thought he might have something to add. Anybody from
Stoller raised his hand.
Who did? All right, someone's hands up. Let me see.
Chris Dollar.
Oh, maybe I didn't put his down from earlier.
I did have another question, and it's really a minor thing, but is the gym staying there, or what's with the workout facility that the Flyers are currently using off-site versus the gym that's upstairs? Is that going to still be there, or is that going to be not there anymore?
So I can start with the offsite center. So the offsite center, we don't plan to have a gym here. So that's where Larry and I currently, that's Larry's, we are social distance apart. That's Larry's in the shooting lanes on that side, which is back to that, and I am on the other wall. So we don't plan to interrupt any business at the ice station, and we won't have a gym here because of the fact that there's a gentleman that already has a gym in this building, and we're not gonna cross another part of that. So so that's from our side, and from the gym in the building, Larry, you want to address that?
Yeah, I can't say exactly what's going to happen, but that area where the gym was up over the, I call it the studio rink rather than the pond, is still there and available for that. And we've started talking about what's going to actually happen there. Without going out on a limb too much, it'll likely be the gym similar to what was there before. So.
Good. Okay. And we from the Flyer side, we've offered to fundraise and help if a gym goes in there and they need, and we'd be glad to help. That's the thing that, Larry, from us, we want to be the best partner we can. We want to give, and we'll give whatever is needed. And so, when it comes to those things, we'll help when we can. So it looks like Gary has a question. Gary, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, and I'm sorry if this is a repetitive question, but I'm sure Jeff Cutler's wondering the same thing. When did you say the adult leagues you thought would start up? I've got two, and I'll ask them both. When did you think the adult leagues would start back up? And have you guys, has anybody solicited you for like a scheduled weekly pickups, like some of the ones that were going on before?
Hi, Gary. Good to see you.
Yeah.
I don't know when the adult league will start up. However, if we will plan to have it start as soon as we're able. Again, the only restriction will be getting people registered and being allowed to by the county. So I could give you a guess, but it would only be a guess. But as soon as that is, we will start getting the word out. I have been talking to different people who have run teams or divisions, like Dan Melnick, people like that. So the nice thing is they're waiting for the word, and they're all putting in for their ice time, of course. As far as pickup goes, sure. I mean, we want to have a couple weekly pickups as before. Whether they'll be the same exact times, I couldn't tell you, but I know they worked before, and hockey players are like anybody else, are creatures of habit. So if we can keep those times, we will. But if we have to move them a bit, we'll move it if we have to. And yeah, I mean, the nice thing about pickup hockey is it's easy to manage. It's from a rink perspective, it's easy money. Nobody comes in complaining about the referees afterwards. So we like to handle those.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And welcome back. It's good to see you back here in town, Larry.
Thanks, Gary.
All right, we have a question from the chat window. It says, unfortunately, so they like to log in. Boys travel hockey. Is there somewhere that they can get information about the program? Yeah, the Flyers are proud to be the Caja team, home team here in Valencia, and so you can go to scflyers.org, and on there you can see a list of coaches. You can sign up for player information, for newsletters and lists and things like that. And specifically, you're talking about 16 AA boys, and I feel that we're going to have a very strong crop of 16s next year. There's a lot of good kids working through the system right now, and I think it's going to be a strong year. So that's S as in Santa Clarita, scflyers.org, and then on there you can see the teams. And then there's a question here saying, how do you see the club and in-house program? Like, what do you think? Is there inner working between club and this is from the chat window? Do you see the in-house and club working together some way, or is it two separate? I mean, how do you see everything? Is it going to be the Little Kings in-house program, or is it going to, or is it the Cube program, or how do you envision that?
Well, it's going to be evolving, and I couldn't tell you what the name is going to be yet.
Yeah.
Probably won't be the Little Kings, although we probably will have Little King sessions like they have in the past.
Oh, those are great.
They're affordable and they're a popular program, a great way to get kids started, and like I said, affordable with gear as well. But as I said early on, we really want a vibrant in-house program. As far as the flyers and the in-house program working together, that's something that's going to take some collaboration between the rink and the flyers, because they're two separate entities that are working hopefully for the same goal. But sure, the flyers are going to want these in-house kids to ultimately want to play for them. So if they're running a good program and some of the coaches are coming out to volunteer from time to time, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
So we'll work together in that sense, but we'll be separate in terms of who's running them, because the rink will be running the in-house and the flyers board and coaches will be running their program.
Absolutely. Okay. My daughter's going to want to know, is the arcade staying?
The arcade is gone.
Oh, she's going to be so mad at you.
Yeah, the arcade is gone, and we're still kicking around office space and what's moving where, and it's changed several times, so it'll definitely be different.
Yeah. So Tony Vaziga is saying his favorite time to take pictures was the Little Kings. And I guess you probably know Tony, right? The photographer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So anybody else have questions for Larry? Well,
I mentioned earlier that I wish I had a start date or an opening date that I know people are dying to get in and start seeing how the building looks and obviously getting on the ice. But as I mentioned also, we're working on a grand opening date with, the city doesn't do anything small, so they'll be ready to throw a party and welcoming people. But again, with the pandemic going on, they're going to have to do it in stages, I suspect.
well, when when you talk to the city, tell them that we really appreciate what they're doing, because honestly, it means more than I'm sure they've gotten thousands of calls, but I don't really know that they understand how much that rink meant to, like, it is, a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. And it's great to see their enthusiasm. There's no hesitation. They've made the decision, and I mean, you saw the Cube.
Yeah.
Advertising.
Yeah, that was the pretty good video there. Yep. Okay. Anyone else have anything for Larry? Last questions here?
Just one final commentary on my behalf. 20 years ago, it was kind of recognized with the prior management with hiring Larry Buryere as the head of the hockey director, that he was pretty much the go-to guy and the ambassador of hockey in Southern California. And I have to say that we should all be very pleased to have him back. So welcome back, Larry.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. Just glad that the building's still there. We got a lot to work with there, and great to still be around. Never mind back.
All right. Well, no one else? I'm scanning.
I do have one quick question to Larry.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, you just brought up that you worked in that pro shop in Glendale, Larry. I found an old pair of skates. What is the warranty on those?
What's the model and the size?
They were pretty small. It was about 34 years ago. So
bring them in and we'll talk to the new pro shop owner for you. I can't guarantee anything.
I'm going to ask you a question right now because I know people have been asking this. So the former owner had a lot of outstanding gift cards and stick time passes and coupons. And I understand they're probably not going to be honored by a new pro shop owner. But you're gonna get that question: is there anything I can do with this? And it's like, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm sure from
Well, the
business.
same thing applies, Lance, to probably stick time and freestyle passes and things like that. But the money didn't go to the city or to the new management company, so they've taken a loss to honor them. But it's something that we talked about recently, and I don't know the answer to that. But if something can be done, I don't know that we'll be able to make people whole, but certainly a gesture would be nice.
Or maybe just an address of the previous who to write a letter to get my $100 gift certificate back from the previous owner. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that's what happens when businesses close.
Yeah, I understand.
So suddenly, hopefully we'll make it up for them in service and in other ways. Good.
All right, well, here's looking at another 20 years, hopefully, that we can partner with you guys and get through this. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight, and if you have any questions that come up to you later, or anybody asks you on the side or whatever, feel free to get a hold of me, and I can pass them on to Larry, or you have Larry's personal email address there. And make sure that you don't trust anything that's told to you in a dark alley in Panorama. Come forth and ask questions. We can shine light on everything. So
Lance, thanks for having me, and folks, thanks for coming on the call. I feel privileged to be able to sit here and talk to you guys, and hope to see everybody at the rink soon.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.